Loudoun County 911, what is your emergency?
Uh, my wife is here ahead. I need an ambulance.
Exactly what happened?
I fell off the ladder.
She fell off the ladder?
I don't know what happened, but Casey's head's caved in, and I've been giving her CPR for I don't know, at least half an hour, and but she just stopped breathing.
This is Stephen Combs-Lafleur. He called 911 and he tells him, as you just heard, that his wife is bleeding. Police then bring him in for questioning. Let's see what he had to say, how all of this happened.
Anyway, I was up on a ladder, and it'd be an all wood house, and it moves, and the outside framing right above the back door, it wasn't loose, but it had separated a little bit.
Okay.
So I was, wailing on that with a hammer to, try and get it back into place. Casey was going back and forth. She was actually putting stuff away.
Now, when you're talking about that area, which door are you talking about? Are you talking about the door that I walked into, which then has the mudroom that then leads to...
Right.
Okay, that then leads to another room where your kitchen would be on the right. That porch that's as you drive up your driveway, that first porch there. I'm sorry. I know you have two porches, so I want to make sure.
Yes, I was in the back, and I was working right above where Casey ended up.
Okay.
Okay. And Casey was putting her gardening tools and stuff away, so she was kind of back and forth on the deck. Her gardening shed is at the end of the deck.
Okay.
I don't know if she bumped the ladder or what, but the ladder kicked out from under me.
Okay.
And I fell. Kind of fell with the ladder, and I think that I kind of landed kind of on Casey, but I don't think I, went on top of her. I must have hit my head on the ladder when I was coming down, because it's really sore, and so I'm a little unclear. But the next thing I know, I was laying on the deck, and Casey was laying next to me, and all of a sudden I saw blood, and I realized it was the top of her head. I don't know. She must have hit it on the step or something. I don't know. And honey, okay? God, and it wasn't. At the time, it didn't seem to be bleeding all that badly. I mean, it wasn't like there was blood flowing, but she was bloody, And then I realized that she wasn't breathing. So I started to do some CPR, and then she wasn't really breathing, but she would gasp, and and she'd gasp, and I go, oh, good, but then she wouldn't be breathing, or anyway, I couldn't tell that she was. So I kept, doing that, and I really don't know how long. There was just, I could see more blood, and then she wasn't breathing.
So he explains they were on the deck. They both fell off the ladder Somehow he landed on her and she died. Now, I've told a lot of porkies in my day, but nothing that bad. Now he's going to speak about when the ambulance arrived.
They started checking out Casey, and they took me away, took me to the ambulance. And then it came in.
So from the time that you fell off the ladder and found Casey, and immediately started trying to work on her, and then realized there wasn't anything you could do. Did you have to go back inside then to get the phone to
Yes.
call? Okay, so then you went. Did you do anything else while you were inside?
No.
No. Where did you have to go inside the house to get the phone?
I think it was on the dining room table. I'm not positive, but I think it was on the dining room table.
Okay. And did you make the phone call from within the house, or did you?
I don't remember. I might have been dialing as I was. I went right back outside.
Okay. Well, I didn't know it's a cordless phone then you were on.
Right.
Okay. When you guys went and sat outside on the deck, had you both taken a break, or were you both done for the day?
Well, I thought I was done for the day, but then Casey said, there's a little bit more I want to do. And I went, well, okay, I got these repairs to do outside. So I started doing those.
When you fell, can you describe to me exactly where you were working? Now, you weren't painting outside. You said, did you say the door frame was going loose? Is that what you said?
Right where Casey was,
mm-hmm.
Above her, there's a roofed area.
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe 3 or 4 feet deep before you go through the door.
Mm-hmm.
And the framing at the edge of the roof there.
Okay.
Like I said, was separating.
Oh, right before you walk up the three.
Right before you take, right above where the 2 steps are.
2 steps, okay.
Right. So, and that was separating. And all wood houses move, because, moisture and stuff. So they move and stuff. So anyway, so like I said,
So they had so those had separated, so you were putting them back together?
Well, there was a gap.
Okay.
There's, a visible gap, not big like that maybe. And, I just put the ladder up and grabbed a pretty hefty hammer,
mm-hmm.
Was just,
okay.
Kind of knocking it back in place and trying to hit where the nails were that nailed it together. So as you hit it, it would go back in, the nail would, I probably would have put some new nails in or some screws or something, but.
Okay. Now, was Casey holding the ladder for you or helping you in any way? Okay.
No, like I said, she was putting her gardening stuff away, and she had all stuff out in the front of the house there.
Mm-hmm.
And her gardening shed is at the end of the deck. So she was picking up stuff and coming up on the deck and going back.
Okay, so she was walking by the area you were working.
Like I said, she was walking back and forth.
Okay. Did she hit the ladder?
I don't know.
Okay, so you don't know if you weren't up there sturdy. As far as you could tell, you thought you were sturdy, or did you think you were sturdy when you set the ladder up there, or did she?
Yeah.
You set it up there yourself.
Yeah, I was perfectly comfortable, and like I said, I think Casey may have bumped it because I don't think there was any reason. I was leaning out a little bit, but not much. But the bottom, the bottom of the ladder just kicked out, and the ladder came down.
Okay.
And I came down with it. And like I said, it's just not very clear to me, but I don't think me and the ladder came down on top of Casey, I thought I just kind of hit her with a kind of a glancing blow. You know what I mean?
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And Casey was originally a little further in on the deck,
Mm-hmm.
but like I said, I mean, I don't think I'm almost sure I didn't get knocked out, but I was like there for, I don't know, a couple of seconds maybe, going, you know, and then I saw, you know, Casey next to me.
Yeah.
I straightened her up. I moved her in the sense that, because she was kind of all like this, you know, and so I straightened her up on her back, which moved her somewhat more towards the front of the house, but not much.
Okay. Now, when you say she was like this, does that mean she was on her side or she was on her belly?
She was on her side, and she was kind of, I think she was kind of like in this kind of a position.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
you know, I don't know.
Okay. As I had come up the steps, she's laying here with her feet towards the back of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And she's on her back. Now, when you fell, how did you land when you fell off the ladder? When you say you were lying next to her?
Okay, where you saw Casey,
Mm-hmm.
she was originally, like I said, kind of in that position, right about where her feet were.
Okay.
And I actually came down right about where she was laying.
Okay. Okay, so you were closer to the steps, both to go into the house as well as the steps to the driveway, and she was closer to where her feet were, which would be closer to the back of the house.
Yes.
Or the back of the porch, whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because I grabbed her by her underarms, you know, and just straightened her up on her back so I could, you know.
And then it seemed like the ladder would have been underneath you, so I'm wondering how the ladder could have hit her. Was she close enough to have been hit by the ladder?
I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. And I don't know. I might have pushed the ladder out of the way. I don't remember. I just don't remember.
Okay.
The medics may have moved it, you know, because, I mean, it was in an awkward place.
Did they do anything for Casey when they got there? Did they try to work on her at all? Do you know?
Again, I'm not so real clear, but they came there and I was sitting there next to her, and they came and I think they either checked her pulse or something like that, and I think, well, I guess they knew she was dead, and I knew she was dead, I guess, you know, but almost immediately, one of the medics said, "Give me your hand and help me up," and they immediately took me to the ambulance.
Okay.
And if I'm not making any sense to you, it's because, for lack of a better expression, I was completely freaked out.
Right. No, that's.
I'm still.
I know. I understand.
No, I don't think you do. But I'm sorry. So anyway, so you know that's pretty much how I remember it. I mean, if you don't understand something, ask me and I'll try and tell you. But
well, that's what I'm gonna do. I just have to have an understanding, and I know it seems like I'm asking simple things that maybe you think I should know, but I don't want to assume something and be incorrect. When you were up working on the wood there that had separated, what were you using to put it back together? I'm assuming you were hammering away at it?
Yes.
Okay, so you had a hammer?
Yes.
Okay, where did you, when you were hammering away and the ladder fell, where did the hammer go?
I don't know. I don't know if I dropped her or if I had it in my hand. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't even recall seeing it though. Later, but I wasn't looking for it. So.
So the last time you recall having it or seeing it would have been when you were working on the
Yeah.
thing. So you didn't have a need to pick it up later, because then immediately when you either came to or realized what had happened, Casey was already in bad shape.
Yeah.
Okay. Was she depressed at all?
I don't think so. I mean, we're having a tough financial time. I told you that I used to build, custom homes, and of course that's when people were buying them. And we had a combination. Gee, this goes back about 4 years ago. I had a client who I was building a house for declare bankruptcy and stiffed me for a lot of money. And, that really hurt us, but, we were going, oh, well, we can still pay our bills and da, da, da. And at that point, I built a spec house, another term. I built a spec house and we went, this is okay, and the real estate agent, when it was pretty much done, she came out there and she said, oh, we can ask this for this. And, we were on that much. We said, we're not going to kill it here, but that's a pretty good profit. And almost to the day that the house was finished, the housing market collapsed. And it took us 14 months to sell it. And we sold it at a loss.
Wow.
So, between the client stiffed me and Casey took a fair amount of money out of her 401k because I said, I owed T.W. Perry and various suppliers. And Casey went, well, those are the people that, you work with. And so she took the monies out of her 401k to pay that and but so it's been 3 or 4 years now since I had any, not only since I had any real income, but also, we took these 2 big losses, one after the other, and there's just no work out there now.
Now, how much did that take out of her 401k to do that? How much did she have to pull out?
Oh, I think all in all, she took out $100,000 all in all.
And was that a substantial part of her?
Huh?
Was that a substantial part of her 401k?
Yes. Okay. I'm not sure. I think she's got about 30 left. Okay. And also, so Casey's, she made a pretty decent salary and stuff, but we had gotten.
And she's a graphic artist. Is that what I was told?
Graphic designer.
Oh, okay.
For an engineering firm.
Okay.
But we weren't making enough to pay all of our monthly bills. Though we economized, we still had, the mortgages and insurance and, like everybody else has.
Now what does she make? What's her yearly salary?
I think she made about 70 last year.
But that you weren't able to, you guys weren't able to come out even, you're still falling behind with her salary?
Right.
Okay.
We have a second house in North Carolina.
Okay.
And
Is that at a profit, or is that? Are you making money off of the house in North Carolina, or that's just more bills?
no, we're not making a profit. We rent it to friends here and there.
Okay. Thank you.
But it doesn't begin to cover what it costs us in the year. So we want to eventually retire there. So we're just going, okay, things, something will work out. I'm putting together a solar power company, and which is kind of a slow grind to get it together and get certified and all that. But we were going, this should work. With any luck at all, I'll start getting a reasonable income here in maybe a year. So, although, like I said, so things were financially tight for us, but we'll get by. This will all work out.
Wow. She took out her 401k, invested $100,000, basically her retirement, to make sure they keep afloat. And what does he do? He's about to tell you what he actually did on the ladder, but she was a keeper, and he messed it all up. Don't you agree?
I mean, you've been married 20-some years, so I'm assuming you guys fight and argue from time to time like any other couple. Fair to say?
That we
argue, getting given times over different things.
Yeah, but it was rare for us to get angry at each other.
Okay.
And it seemed to me when we would get in an argument or something, it was usually over something ridiculous, and I'd go, this is just because we're both stressed.
Usually the case. So, did your arguments ever lead to physical altercations?
Never.
And she's never been physical with you?
No.
Okay. And you've never struck her?
Never.
Okay. Have you guys been together this whole time? Have you guys separated at all and moved out or anything like that? So pretty much, other than the bad economy and other things, the relationship was good.
Yes.
The things that were bad was the stress put on the relationship by other things.
Yes.
Okay. Nothing's adding up at all. And it's just not making any sense. The ladder has no blood on it. The ladder could not have possibly, no matter how it came down, caused the damage to her head that's been caused.
Okay.
There were actually pieces of her skull that were found around her head and out of her head. She has the only way that you can cause this injury to her head, for her to cause this injury to her head, is blunt force trauma, not from a fall. Not from a fall.
She didn't fall, I did.
Mm-hmm. How did this happen?
I don't know. Did she hit her head on the step?
Mm-mm. The step wouldn't have done it.
Don't know.
You and her were the only people at the house.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Nobody else was at the house.
Yes.
You were there
Yes.
when this happened to her.
Yes.
You were there with her when this happened to her.
Yes.
You need to tell me how this happened.
I didn't hit her, if that's what you're saying.
She didn't hit herself. It's not from a fall. It's impossible for it to be from a fall. Impossible. This is the shoes that the other investigator had you change. He took these shoes. These are your shoes, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I just want to make sure you're following. Do you see the blood on the shoes?
Yes.
Now I want you to look at it closely. Do you have the same one or a similar one? Here, they're not the exact same picture, but do you see this blood on the shoes?
Yes.
How do you suppose that might have gotten there?
Well, I mean, I was there with her. I moved her. I was essentially sitting on top of her, doing the. There was blood all over the place.
Well, here's the thing. You can get blood on you from she's there and you're going to help her. That's what you call transfer blood. This is not transfer blood. This is not a smear of blood. This is not a transfer. This is what we call blood splatter. And you can see this is not a drop of blood.
All right.
It's not blood pouring all over your shoe.
All right.
This comes from being in close proximity to the blood coming out. Whether you're shot and you're standing there, if I'm standing right beside you when you're shot, it's going to go this way. And that's what you would consider blood spatter. That's the difference. So you standing over her, you doing chest compressions, you doing mouth to mouth, you laying beside her, touching her is not going to cause this type of blood pattern on your shoes. Did she hit you?
What?
Did she hit you tonight?
No.
She didn't?
No.
Not once?
No. And I didn't hit her.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
How do you explain your shoes having this blood on them?
I don't know.
How do you explain the damage to her head?
I don't know.
How did this happen tonight?
I don't know. I told you what happened as best as I could remember. I didn't hit her. I didn't kill her.
The hammer that you were using to work on the wood.
Yeah.
That was laying near her body. It was laying in an area where there was no blood. Yet the hammer had blood all over it.
Where was the hammer?
Near her body. I could see blood on the hammer. I'm sure there's going to be other things from her head on the hammer as well, whether it be hair or skull or whatever other pieces are.
I don't know what to say. I did not kill Casey.
How did this sort of trauma occur to her head? I've seen people that shoot themselves in the head with a shotgun that do not have the type of trauma to their head that she has. I mean, I want to believe what you're telling me, but it doesn't add up. I'm giving you an opportunity here to tell me what really happened. I mean, you need to tell me.
So from what you're telling me here,
your body would not have.
Huh?
Your body landing on her head would not have caused.
No.
That damage.
So no, I'm saying that as I landed on her, I must have still had the hammer in my hand. I think probably in a case like that, you tend to grip something that's already in your hand. So if I fell on her and had the hammer in my hand and that hammer hit her and crushed her skull. I really didn't see that.
You didn't see that.
I really didn't see that. I saw blood. I thought it was all blood in her hair, and actually, it seemed at first that there wasn't much blood. At first, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, when I first saw her, actually, I saw blood on her leg. Yeah, I'm sure there was blood on her leg. And like I said, and I straightened her up, or uncurled her and laid her down. I think that's when I must have got the blood on my sleeve, because you saw it was a big patch of blood on my sleeve. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're saying that her skull was crushed by the hammer. Then I'm saying, okay, but I didn't murder my wife. I didn't, walk outside and bash her head. And I fell off a ladder. I landed on her, kind of. And from what you're telling me, I can only go that as I fell, as we both fell, that I hit her in the head with my hammer and killed her. But if that's how it happened, yeah. So I guess you would say that, yeah, I did kill her, but it was an accident. It happened falling off the ladder.
If that's what happened, why didn't you tell me that when you came in here? Were you just scared?
I don't remember that happening.
You don't remember that?
I don't remember that happening.
So what you remember happening is what you told me earlier, with the ladder kicking out, you landing beside her, and then straightening her out.
No, I told you that I came down on top of her, but what I was trying to say was, I came down kind of on her side. I didn't land on her head.
Right.
I came down on her side, and it all happened so fast, and I really did whack my forehead and my knees. I must have actually landed on my knees, unless I hit my knees on the ladder rungs. I don't know. So my knees are real sore, and well, not real sore, but they were then. I don't know why that's worse, but it is somehow.
Well, we just need to know the truth. I mean,
well, I'm telling you the truth.
I don't know.
I'm telling you the truth, and I don't know. I'm telling you everything that I know. And what I know is the ladder kicked out. I fell. My body hit Casey, and I wouldn't exactly call it a glancing blow, but it's not like I came down right on top of her. I came down, in sort of a glancing blow. And since you're telling me that it's the hammer that killed her, then I'm saying only thing I can.
The hammer has blood on it, and it's lying next to her body. And the ladder would not do it. Your body would not do it, and nothing else I see around as far as her falling on a step would not do it. So therefore, the hammer with her blood on it tells me it's a good possibility that hammer could have been used. But you're telling me you don't recall having it in your hand or possibly hitting her.
Well, no, I had it in my hand. I was using it.
Okay, so you know that when you're falling off the ladder, it's in your hand. But
yes.
you don't know that it struck her. You're telling me you don't know that. Or do you think that happened? I need you to tell me what you think happened.
That's exactly, look.
Not what you want to believe.
Look. I'm on a ladder and I'm hammering away, and actually I was kind of leaning over a little bit.
Now, is she down here? What is she doing down here?
She when I was hammering, I wasn't even aware that she was there. Okay? But
you're saying you're leaning over her a little bit, so you had to notice her at some point. Correct?
Listen to me. I'm up there pounding away with a hammer. The ladder, I'm pounding away with a hammer. The ladder kicks out this way underneath me. I look down and Casey's there. And and like I said, I didn't come down boom on top of her. I came down, here. Okay. Excuse me for touching you.
So
you're telling me
she's standing when you come down. If you came down here, so she's standing.
Yes.
Okay.
So from what you're telling me here, I can only say then, as I fell, I must have hit her in the head with the hammer in my hand.
Well, one of the reasons we sit here and talk and we go over things over and over again is because I want you to tell me clearly what you remember as all of this is taking place. This helps us out because now, before you thought she was walking back and forth, now you do recall a split second where you saw, oh, I'm falling and there's Casey. So walking through this brings that back. Do you remember as you were falling? Because I know sometimes as you're falling, everything happens. It's like being in a car accident. Everything sort of slows down, sort of slow motion because you're trying not to fall one way or steer the car one way or whatever. Sometimes it stops in slow motion. Do you remember as you're falling, do you think like, oh no, I'm coming down on her? Could you see that?
Well, I knew I was coming down on her. I mean, I tell you, I looked down. It's a natural thing to do.
And you had the hammer in your hand?
I must have had the hammer in my hand because I was hammering, and you're telling me that she didn't die from hitting her head.
No, she didn't die from
on anything. You're telling me she was that phrase that they always use, blunt something. Anyway, a blow to her head, not that. So I'm saying. Well, the only way I can explain that is to say that I had the hammer in my hand, and when I landed on her, I struck her with that hammer and cracked her head open. Since you're telling me that's what the outcome was.
I'm telling you that the story you told me earlier does not add up. You're telling me that this is what happened, or are you telling me what you think I want to hear? What are you telling me?
Now?
Right now.
Okay. One more time.
No, I want you to tell me what you believe happened, not what you think I want to hear.
I'm not.
Okay.
Well, to begin with, from the get-go, I told you what happened to the best of my memory.
Do you feel like as we sit and talk about it, it helps you jog your memory, that your memory's getting better?
No, nobody asked me if I saw Casey below me as I fell. I didn't specifically say that, but I was saying, I know I said that, Casey might have bumped the ladder, because there was really no reason for it to fall.
Okay, that's the end of the police interrogation. Guess what he said at trial? He told the judge, okay, yes, she fell, she was bleeding a lot, I decided to get the hammer and take her out of her misery. He said it was a mercy killing because she was in so much pain. This muppet, he was sentenced to life in prison. Why he did it, we will never know. But to confirm, they were on a ladder, right? He fell off or he jumped down the ladder. He had a hammer with him. And yes, it made contact with her head purposefully. And she died. What a coward.